Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is Thursday night, time for an episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Jason Thrifts.
Hi, I'm your other West Coast host, Debbie.
Debbie, how are you, Debbie?
I'm good.
All right, let's. So we're gonna do something a little bit different tonight. Usually, we say hi to the guests first, and we drink, and we put them asleep. And there's so many guests tonight that we're actually gonna just do a couple segments, and then get right to our guests. So we're gonna flip it up just a little bit. Now it's time for Jay's Tiki Talk. Each week, I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug and try and match it up to my guest. Okay, it's a little tricky when you have 6 guests, but then inspiration hit. Stacy goes, I'll just grab a rum you want to drink. And we had gotten some rum as a gift this past week. And this is Star Rum. This is African rum. And I've had their other version. I've not had this, but this is this 7-year rum. So with 6 guests and Debbie, my 7 all-stars. 7 stars.
Nice.
There we go. Ta-da!
Brilliant.
Ta-da. African rum tonight. And this diver's helmet is from the Reef, which my buddy Rory owns in Palm Springs. And there's a little bonus to this, but we're going to wait till we get the guests in because I feel every assistant brings something to the table that you didn't know they were going to bring. It's like it's a little bonus.
Nice. You are so good at this. Okay.
What do you got tonight?
I am drinking out of this mug. Do you know this mug? That's the
back test. I don't know that back actually off the top of my head.
Okay, this is the front.
Oh, so it's a Sarah made by oh crap. I know all my Sarahs too. It's from some tourist location. Schoenfield make those?
No. It's on the other East Coast.
So where's it from?
Panama City, Florida.
Yeah, that's a touristy mug.
This is a Sarah. Okay, well, anyway, I'm drinking electrolytes because I'm intermittent fasting, and so I'm having my electrolytes in there. No rum for me.
That's what happened. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just do a couple things because we always want to share scores because scores are kind of the reason a lot of people tune in. Get your little bolos, get your little action on there, and so let's get right. Oops, I went the wrong way in my screens. Hold, please. There we go. And now it's time for our scores of the week. These are the items that you should be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting.
Oh,
a little lovey. Oh,
yeah. I just fell in love with it when I got it, and we sold it for the full asking price of $49.99. Got it at Zippers for $3.99.
I haven't found a lovey in quite a while.
That's probably my first that I've ever sold. I think.
Really?
I don't see them very often, but when you see a big frog sticking out of it, it was pretty easy.
What? You sold books? Get out.
We did some of the manja books, full asking price, $65. Nice picture too, because it kind of shows one of them has the wave, so we always disclose all of that. Manja is doing very well right now. We have quite a nice stack of it, and keep your eye out, especially some of the sets. Oh my gosh, they can go for $200 or $300.
Nice.
You have the whole set of them, so check them out. And the DVDs. That's what we really need to be looking for. Manja DVDs are crazy prices. This is the one I sold last night, and then I changed my score. This went to San Francisco, and we're just 45 minutes away. This is from way back in the day. I used to sell home interiors, party plan, and it's hard to find one. And I believe this is the original paint on it. Usually they're pink or they're white or they're blue. Someone sprayed them, so it sold for full asking price $79.99, and I paid $6 for it. You should see the pictures of us shipping this today. Took up the whole dining room table.
I'm guessing we're going to see those next time you're co-hosting.
Oh yeah, because we had to stay. We only had like 2 inches to play with, or the price was going to go astronomical because of the size. It was crazy.
That's the game we play nowadays. How can we keep it skinny?
And these are sad. I'm sad now that I sold these. These were my kids. I found them in the drawer. We never used them, but they sold for $34 really quick. And when I was looking at them today, I thought, darn, I wish I kept them because I love Mickey and Minnie. But you need money, so.
And you can't keep everything, so
no.
I know that all too well. All right, not my biggest sale, but come on, you got to share when you sell a shirt that says "Control your orgasms" is just my beard.
Oh my gosh.
So, I used to sell a lot of these kind of what I call fun t-shirts. They aren't specific to a brand or a band. And then they stopped selling. And then this one was just in a pile. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. And yeah, I think I took a best offer of $20 actually, but still, most of these t-shirts you pick up for like $2. And so if you can sell them for $20, that's a good return. Plus t-shirts are easy to ship and they don't break.
That's right. And because of the COVID and online shopping, probably a lot of people that aren't normally looking for things are finding these goofy things right now.
Yeah. Okay. Debbie and everyone watching and our guests are about to be on. Would you have picked up this Hewlett-Packard Family Picnic 1993 t-shirt? So let's see a show of hands if you would have picked this up, because I'm guessing most people would have just skipped it on by. Would you have grabbed that, Deb?
I would have, because it's Hewlett-Packard.
And that's kind of the key. Any kind of nerdy stuff.
I love the colors, and it's got 93 on it. So, and it's 90s clothing type things are really hot right now. So somebody could say, yeah, my dad was here.
All right, so here's the second question. Would you have paid $10 for this?
Probably not.
Okay, I did, and boom, full asking price of $40.
Where'd you buy that?
Yeah, see, Greg said cheap, yes. Now, I think any one of us would have picked it up for $1 or $2, or my mom would have picked it up for a quarter. But I picked it up for $10 because I was pretty confident in it, and it was definitely an old school. It was 100% cotton, made in the USA.
Nice.
That's a blurry photo, so we'll have a talk with my assistant when she gets here about taking better photos.
It happens. It's not their fault. It's eBay's fault.
Oh yeah. All right. So this was funny. So these were in the wrong box, and so when pictures were taken, they were taken in the wrong box and given to Kelly to list, and she listed them based on what was on the box. And some customer said, "Hey, those boots aren't the boots that go with that box." I went, "Oh crap!" So I ended them. And then I did some digging, and I found the brand. And when you have Paul Bond boots, the brand is so tiny it's hard to see it. But I'm like, oh, we actually have good boots here, even though they weren't in the right box. We got rid of the box and put them back up, and boom, $150. These I paid $15 for. So
nice.
So good flip. And all right, so we have too many tiki mugs, Stacy and I. I know that's a shocker. So every once in a while, we have to clean and redo shelves and put in the new mugs like this. Nice. And so old mugs have to go. And I like this mug when I bought it, and I bought it like 3 years ago, but I paid $50 and it just didn't work in my aesthetic anymore, even though it is naked boobies. But it was okay. But put it up, sold immediately for $160, paid $50. So, sometimes buying tiki mugs is way better than buying stock and gold. They go up pretty quick if you buy the right ones.
That's what I call our bookcase. I tell people these are our bank. Someday if we need money, we'll just sell these.
You got it. And now it's time for our CD and cassette scores of the week. And as always, we start with flipping cassettes. All right, Short Dog's in the house. Who's a Too Short fan back in the day, early rap. $19. And I had a ton of good used cassettes in the last week. I'm only going to share one at a time. I decided just to thin it out a little bit, but this was one of my best. I paid 50 cents and sold for $19. Woohoo!
Never heard of them.
The one of the dirtiest rappers of all time.
Figures. When this first popped up, I thought it was the Time Life Christmas cover.
Oh, just the opposite. And now we go from flipping cassettes to flipping CDs. Oh, Debbie's got one. Look at this.
Yes, Rasputin, and I think it was in San Jose. What did we pay for that? Oh, I can't remember what we paid for that. Oh, where do I have it? $1.95. Because you said look for soundtracks. And I think it took like a year to sell, but hey, they're tiny and they don't take up much space. So well done. Yes.
All right, Big Joe Turner, early blues singer, blues jazz. Most people might not know Big Joe Turner, but best of sold for $25. Only paid a couple bucks for it.
Nice.
From my big haul of promo CD singles, here's a Paula Abdul that sold for, I think I took a best offer of $30.
And it doesn't even have a cover or anything.
And this is how it came. No front cover, no back cover. This is how the promo CD came. So here's your little tip. If you see CDs like this in the thrift store at a garage sale, it's not necessarily missing its artwork. Some promo stuff didn't come with artwork. So there's a little lesson. Speaking of no artwork, how about this Queen? 2 songs, 2 versions of the same song, $51.
Wow.
$51. It has back artwork, but no front artwork.
Nice. That's good to know.
And funny enough, I tell Stacy, I go, man, this has been probably the quietest week of CDs the whole year for me in terms of I sold a bunch of $10 ones, but nothing exciting. And so I said, yeah, I got nothing big to share this week. Boom! Like an hour later.
Yeah.
$100 of a band ain't no one heard of. So true. SCW true. And it was one of those CDs that came in a cardboard sleeve. So it was like this. So I don't know them. I picked it up, I think at a garage sale. It was sealed. And I'm like, all right, no one has any new ones. I'll throw it up for $100 and hope. And guess what? It worked.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
even bands I don't know sell for $100. But speaking of bands I do know. And now it's time for Where in the World Did Our Stuff Go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers.
That's right. Remember when this big hug mug used to go for a lot more money, but ours sold for $24.99. So that wasn't bad. I paid 99 cents for it. And it went to, I learned something. We pronounce it Cologne, Germany, but it's spelled Koin. And then if you put the two little dot things above it, or whatever. Yeah, that's what they're called. So anyway, that's where it went, to Germany. To
Man,
Cologne.
I sold my last one for 12 and I was happy. You got 25. Damn, girl.
I know, that was Bill. I think he just decided to put 24 on it. So yeah.
All right, before I show mine, let's have a serious talk, everybody. Are you not shipping internationally? And if so, why not? Because let me tell you, we always say people need our stuff everywhere. Big places like Cologne, Germany, and small places. Now, most of you know my mom. She lives in a small town that has crappy internet. Her town has 5,513 people in it. Compared to what I'm about to show you, that's New York City. Okay? Because you never know where someone's going to need something. Case in point. I sold these 3 DVDs to Laverton, Australia. When you go to Google Maps, that's the picture of Laverton, Australia, just the outback, not even people or a town. And if you look in the upper right-hand corner, it is a 10-hour drive from Perth into the outback. And if you look right dead in the middle of your screen, 340 people. Not 340,000, 340 people live there.
When you started talking about this, I was visualizing a little huts, grass
Look
huts.
at the picture of the town. It's scrub brush. That's it.
My gosh, is this where they filmed Crocodile Dundee?
So someone needed 3 George A. Romero, Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead movies. And I said, man, Laverton, where's that? And when I looked up, I'm like, oh my God, this is the best example ever.
They even have Wi-Fi or internet out there? That
My dad said they probably have better Wi-Fi.
probably.
Look,
Nobody else is
Look,
using
if someone has a mailbox and a smartphone, they can order from you. So get your stuff worldwide. You don't know who needs it. They paid me $50 and good shipping. So I was very, very excited.
Especially places like Australia and all the fires. You know, you think about what
that is the outback of the outback for sure. All right. So we're not going to do any more segments this week. So let's do a little housekeeping first. All right. Coming up in a couple of weeks, I got my new class that's free, flipping vinyl records. And I got a little something to say about that. You know, I just read an article, and for the first time in 35 years, records are outselling CDs almost 2 to 1. Back in 1985, I bought a bunch of records. Iron Maiden's Live After Death, Dead Milkman's Big Lizard in My Backyard, INXS's Listen Like Thieves, and Run DMC's King of Rock. But soon after that, it was cassettes, and then we were on to CDs. But what changed? Why are people buying so many records? Well, we're all stuck at home, and people discovered how awesome records sound, and I want you to discover how awesome it is to flip records. So sign up for my free class at flippinvinylrecords.com and be prepared to learn. This is another Jason Thrifts web class.
That's
all right,
amazing.
So get signed up. It's in 2 weeks from this week, I think. Oops, that's not what I want. There we go. Upcoming shows. And thank you, Nadine, for all this great artwork. Okay, so Mom and I didn't have an idea for our Sunday show. We were batting around some, and then she mentioned to me, oh, I sold my first thing in Macari. I'm like, yay. And then she told me the nightmare of trying to figure out how to ship it and get her money. So we did the show on how to sign up and sell a Macari. Now we're going to do the follow-up, how to get your money, how to ship, all this good stuff. Because I said, Ma, the shipping label was in the email. She goes, no, it's not. I go, all right, forward me the email. It was in the email. So we're going to talk about, see how she kind of overlooked it. So that's going to be our Sunday show. Those of you in the Secret Beach, my webinar for the month is this coming Wednesday, the Goodwill Blue Box Part 2. Nadine did our first part last week, and a bunch of ordered some blue boxes, so that's awesome. And right before we went live, I sold an item from the blue box. So if you're in the Secret Beach and you don't know what the blue box is, go watch the webinar from this week.
It was excellent.
And then next week, probably one of the best pictures we've ever had from a guest, Chris Yearden standing with the Iron Man Hulkbuster, setting selling goals and achieving them. Chris was a poker dealer at a casino. Excuse me, due to COVID, they're closed. And so every month he's like, okay, my next 90 days, I'm going to do this month. And then he would break it. And he didn't sit on that. And he said, my next 90 days, I'm going to do this much. And he broke it. And he didn't sit on that. So we're talking about that. And he's been selling on Facebook Marketplace and using their shipping. So if you haven't done that yet, we're going to hear all about that. So that's next Thursday on Thrifty Business. And then I'm going to be a guest, yay, other side of the desk for once, on Nadine's show, not tomorrow, even though she does have a show tomorrow, so tune into that. But next Friday, we're going to talk vinyl. So obviously, I'm not going to be giving away what I'm teaching, but we're going to be talking about collecting it. And that kind of goes into people who buy it. Like, you have to think like a collector, like with tiki mugs and records and things like that. So that's what we got coming up for you. All right, cool. So let's get to our guests, shall we?
Yes, I'm excited.
All right, here we go. Nope, that's not what I want.
And now it's time for the Thrifty Business special guest of the week.
Hey, get rid of the share screen for a minute. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Hello.
Hey.
Good. All right, so joining us right now is Bruce, Michelle, Bill, Julie, and Kelly. And joining us in a little bit will be our last guest live here in the studio, Zoe. Yay, Zoe's my teenager who takes pictures. So let me say a little bit about why everyone's on tonight, and then we'll get into talking to everybody. If you have been wanting to take your business to the next level, the really only way to do it is either all of a sudden fall into every item that you find earns you $10,000, or more realistically, you hire someone to help you. There was many years in a row that I was selling online. At the end of the year, I never got any more. Like I sold the same amount every year. And I finally realized there's only so many hours in the day. I'm one person. And the only way to sell more is to have someone help me. And I realized, and no offense to any of you, I realized you can teach any monkey how to take pictures, really. Like you say, hey, Bill, this is how we want the pictures of tiki mugs. And then Bill goes and does it. That's very easy. But then you go that next level. Here's how to list. Here's how to ship. Shipping's a bitch. And so to teach someone to ship, it's a different story. But anyone can be handed a camera and say, okay, these are the 7 angles I need of a tiki mug. These are the 4 shots I need of a CD. And taking pictures takes up a lot of your time. So if you haven't taken that leap yet, find someone who can take pictures. Now, as you can see by our panel, men, women, and I won't ask Bruce and Bill their age, but they're at the top end. And when Zoe gets here, she just turned 18. She's at the other end. So age isn't really a factor. Neither is sex. And so, anyone that can help you, that has a penchant for it, that can understand it, it'll help you build your business. Now, and this is what we're going to talk about with them. In the meantime, if you're a good eBay seller like I am and Debbie is, who's ever helping you, they're learning, and maybe they'll start selling for themselves. It worked. I mean, Kelly's selling, Zoe's selling. And so you got to get the assistant gets paid to learn.
Right.
All right. So with that being said, let's go around the table, and I will keep an eye on questions too. If you got any questions for any of our guests. So we'll just start in the order up here. Bruce, where are you and who do you list for?
I'm in Rockford, Illinois, and I list for Toad Hall Records and Bookstore.
It's an awesome record store, Deb.
Yeah, I saw it. I looked.
Bruce has been bugging me to get there forever. And finally, last year, I'm like, all right, we've worked in the schedule to come. And I'm so glad we did, because it was fun to see where he worked. It was fun to see the operation. And of course, for me, it was fun to shop and buy music.
Yes.
So, Bruce, how long have you been doing their listings for them?
I've been there 3 years.
And the big question is how they find you, or did you offer your services?
I left one company that I was working for 2 years as their eBay sales specialist. And they just happened, they had an opening at that same moment. So I sent them a resume and started the same day.
Wow. Well, there's not much interview process there.
Nope.
Oh, all right. You got a pulse. You want to go? All right, cool. And how is it? Well, you wouldn't say anything but good, but do you like working there? Because you have your own separate like building there.
Yes. I have a building that's separate from the main store, and it is just totally online stuff that we have in that building. And we probably have, I think we have 13,000 listings now.
Wow.
Now, are you responsible for all 13,000?
When I started, they had 4,000.
You've been hustling hard because, of course, they're also selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's well done, sir. Well done.
Wow.
Now, when you went to work there, were you already selling for yourself online?
Yes, I was.
And how many items do you have listed?
3,400.
Man, that's a nice size store there. And then we'll get back to like what platforms you're on. All right, so we're gonna come around the corner to Julie. And Julie, who do you work for?
I work for my mom, Joanne Zimmer, and her eBay store is Windy Ducks 2.
Now, as short as the interview process was for Bruce, I'm gonna guess it was even shorter for you.
Yeah, kind of. I was working in retail and I really, really hated it. And so I talked to my mom and I ended up quitting my job and she was like, come work for me.
Now, when you went to work for your mom selling online, had you sold online before?
I hadn't. No, she had the eBay store, I want to say for maybe like 5 years before I started working for her. And so she basically taught me everything about it, which was kind of weird because usually it's the younger generation teaching the older generation how to use technology, but she knew way more she still knows way more than I do.
And are you selling for yourself at all now?
I do sell for myself. I'll sell on her platform. It's been kind of weird though this year with the pandemic. So I normally live full-time in Los Angeles. My mom lives in New Jersey. And so there came a point where I started buying things out there for myself. But when the pandemic hit, I came to New Jersey. I've been here since May. So I took all of my listings down. I had about 100 listings or so. So all that stuff is still in LA. I do still live there, but I just came back during the pandemic. So it's been a weird year.
It's been a weird year for all of us. That's a great statement by Susan. I've had no luck keeping employees because I've had some that have lasted a long time, and I've had some that lasted one day and one weekend. So we'll get to that in a minute. All right. So Bill, how'd you get your job, Bill?
Oh, just darn luck, I guess. I walked in the house and said, I lost my job, and Debbie said, you can work for me.
Actually with me, but yeah.
And were you receptive to that right away?
Yes, but I had a lot to learn because Debbie had been doing it for years, and I had never really touched it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So when you had the job you got let go from, you had never really done what you're doing now. So you were just like all thumbs. You're like, I don't know. Cool. Let's do it.
Exactly. And maybe still am to some extent. But
It's interesting because before he started working eBay with me, he'd tell me all the time, I'm going to get a dumpster. I'm going to take everything out of the garage and throwing it away. Now it's like, oh, there's money out there and I'm going to go find it and list it.
See how it changes? Yeah, you see money. Like I know we all walk through the grocery store and someone's wearing a T-shirt and you're like, oh, that's like $25.
Oh, wow. Beautiful Hawaiian shirt. Oh, where'd you get that?
I think more so when I was listening myself, I don't do it as much, but when I would walk behind people wearing like a Harley shirt, I would start building the title in my brain. I'm like, oh, this is what my title would say.
I'm glad to have Bill help because he really has like doubled our sales and our listings. So,
and that's good to hear. Two of you working at it doubled it. That's how kind of it should be. And with me, and not with everybody, because Michelle, we're talking to her in a second here, because she works for Becky. But with me, I of course have to put on 2 YouTube shows a week and monthly webinars in the Secret Beach and the big webinar flipping records for everybody coming up. So besides, I need to do all that other stuff. So it's so great to have good help, because I can just be like, take pictures of this, list this, ship this, and I got to go make webinars. So it really helped me. All right. So Michelle, you work for Becky, and Becky's in the chat. Hi, Becky. And how did that come about? Were you guys just shooting the breeze, and what happened there?
So I actually have a degree. It's called photo illustration, and it's kind of hard to explain, but the basic principle is it's more of a like commercial photography type stuff. And I graduated back in 2017, and so it's a really hard kind of workforce to get into, and basically you have to like freelance for photographers for a long time before you can actually get your foot in the door, like have contacts with a corporation or company that has an in-house photo studio. So I'd been doing a little bit of freelancing. I'd been working retail at one point, but then I kept getting like potential photo jobs when they were like, oh, well, you have to start right away. And I was like, but I don't want to like just leave my job without giving them 2 weeks notice. So I kind of like gave the retail job 2 weeks notice, and then was like, all right, I'm going to fully focus on like freelancing and looking for photography jobs. And I came across this listing on Craigslist in my area, and it was, like, it was technically like administrative assistant, but a big portion of it was photography. And I casually sold on eBay here and there over the years, like, oh, I have this external hard drive that I used to like once and I don't want it anymore. Let me throw it up on eBay or whatever. Pardon me. So I was, kind of familiar with it. And so I was like, okay, I'll kind of apply to this job and see where it goes. And that's kind of where it went from,
So that was Becky. She placed an ad.
Yeah. She placed the ad on Craigslist.
Okay, because we're going to talk about how to find your assistants too. So
yeah, and like I don't know. At first, I thought it was like some guy, and I was just like, I don't know if this is sketchy or not. But then she emails me, and she's all like very nice and has like a very long, thorough explanation of everything. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I feel better about this now. Yeah.
I probably should have Becky on and say, did you get any creepers applying?
Well, the funny thing is that like she we've been growing, and she has a couple kind of, I don't want to call them exactly freelance photographers, but in a way that's kind of what they are. They kind of come and pick up jewelry and then they'll go photograph it at their home. So she had put out another ad on Craigslist for that. And that's when I was working there. That was like maybe right around the holidays last year, and we got all kinds of really weird applications, and she even like had me screen them because she was like, I want someone that knows photography, that knows what they're doing. And it was just weird. Like we would get like big studio professional photographers who would be like, oh, I'm very interested in doing your jewelry, I'll offer you a great discount. And Becky's like, yeah, I'm not paying them like thousands of dollars or whatever to put up my eBay listings for me. So yeah.
And then how long has that been now? 3 years?
It'll be 2 around November.
Okay.
And your photos are gorgeous. Now I understand why.
All right. So Kelly's having problems with her computer, so she switched to her phone.
Right? Is it working?
It is, but try to hold it still because you're going to make everyone seasick.
Okay, wait. Let me set it down, maybe, because.
There we go. Much better, yeah. It was like this. I'm like, oh no, she's on the Titanic. Look out.
Sorry.
All right, so last but not least, Kelly. So I told Kelly she can say whatever she wants.
What were the questions? I couldn't hear.
How is it to work for Jason?
It's actually awesome. It's really great, especially having the kids at home. He's so nice. Everything's so flexible. Like my hours are flexible. And listen, I'm learning so much. Shipping, learning how to list. And every day I learn like 10 new things. My mind is like, boom. I mean, even with the music knowledge alone, It's incredible, you guys. There's so much stuff I did not know.
Kelly,
Yeah.
Kelly was an athlete in high school and kind of missed the whole going to concerts and listening
Yeah.
to music. And so when we separated and we sorted the 2,400 CDs, it was me, Kelly, and Zoe. At the time, Zoe's 17, I'm almost 50, and we're both teaching Kelly about the music from 20 years ago and 30 years ago. And she was
Yep.
like, I'm telling you this stuff. And Zoe, who was 17, is like, you don't know this? So
I
it was
don't.
fun. Now, how did I find you, Kel?
Through something online, I forget.
Is it Care? Yeah, care.com.
Care.com. Yes, that's right. And yeah, and I just applied. I was like looking for a job, and it was the perfect job for me. It was the best thing ever. So
Now, Craigslist is easy, but I can understand how Michelle was like, all right, where am I going? Some sketchy dude's house? Like, what's happening?
Oh, sorry, did I say Craigslist? I meant what's that one? The Indeed. That was
Indeed.
it.
Oh, you did say
Yeah.
Craigslist, and I'm like,
Yeah, Indeed. I'm
looking
sorry.
for a hookup?
I don't know. I still didn't know though, because I was just like, her username is Jaybird, and then her store is Ziggy's Vault. So I thought like their name, was Jay, and it was a guy, and I was just like, I don't know. Like
I can see that. Yeah, so care.com was an accidental thing. We had gotten a dog sitter 100 years ago off of care.com, and I forgot to cancel the subscription. And so one day, I used to take care of our bills, and one day Stacy goes, hey, see this charge to care.com? I go, yeah. She goes, how long have we been paying that? And I thought it was this monthly thing we had to pay for our insurance, care.com.
Yeah.
She goes, no, dummy, that's from the dog sitter that we hired 2 years ago. So we have been paying monthly for 2 years of service I never used. And they were nice enough to say, all right, we're going to give you credit for most of that money, because you can also use Care to pay your employees. So you can use them as the pay your employees. So I've used it since then to find people, and everyone except for one has been good. And Kelly is my current and hopefully my last.
yes.
Yay.
Because so here's the deal. When you hire an assistant, sometimes you get one who is already doing it, like Bruce. Bruce was doing it, knew it very well. And sometimes you get one like Kelly. Kelly, before you met me, how many items had you bought on eBay?
0. I wasn't even a member of eBay. I didn't know anything about it.
So
Nothing.
when people say like you can't find things at garage sales because everyone knows eBay, Kelly, as a full-grown adult, had never been on eBay in her life.
Never, ever.
So you never know what people are. But so Bruce comes with full gear. Bruce knows what he's doing. But if the record store wants Bruce to do something a little different, they'll have to break his habit of doing it his way. With Kelly, it takes longer to train, but you train them exactly the way you do things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's great. Now, remember I said there was a little something bonus to this mug? So when you hire everybody, when you hire Michelle, when you hire Julie and Bruce, and well, you didn't hire Bill, you married Bill, but same kind of deal. You train them to what they need to do. And then there's always that little surprise. Like, oh, I didn't know Zoe was going to be so artistic with taking pictures of clothing. I didn't know Kelly was going to be so good at organizing my messes. And so this mug has a little surprise. See?
Oh.
So like all assistants, all come with a little surprise because there's something that all suddenly shines through and you're like, I would have never done that. And that's the best part about all of you. You've all done something for those of us who are the sellers, me and Debbie and your mom and Becky and the record store, that I'm like, I would have never done that. And thank God I have you, because that looks way better than I ever thought to do it. That's the best part. You teach them how you want it. And then once they're good, you let them do it. So Bruce, when you hopped into the record store, did you change any of the things that they were doing in terms of listing or pictures or anything? Or did they have a good process already?
They did not have a process at all.
Oh,
The person that
3,000 listings and no process. Oh my.
would take pictures of the item on the floor against this worn out carpet. And so I set up a photo shoot area. I put in some procedures and just totally reamped it. And they had no organization. So the person that was helping me, Max, he would say, oh, that picture was taken by this assistant, so it must be over in this area of the store. And now every shelf is labeled. Everything has an ID to it. So you know exactly where it's at.
Nice.
All right, so Julie, I'm going to put you on the spot and your mom on the spot. Was there something that you saw your mom doing? You're like, hey, we got to change this around a little bit.
I mean, I can't really remember in the beginning if there was anything because she was teaching me a lot, but I will say that when we are making listings, she will always come to me and say, like, how can we describe this? You're always so good with words. What are the words that I can use? Like, I think I'm a little more like articulate when it comes to describing things than she is. So I do think I'm helpful in that way.
And see, that's your hidden talent because
Yeah.
I had my one and only male assistant. We were taking pictures of a skateboard, and of course, we, like Bruce said, you take pictures in a nice controlled environment, and we always took things there. And he took the pictures of the skateboard in the photo studio, and he goes, just doesn't look right. And so without saying anything, he walked outside, put the skateboard on the sidewalk, put his foot on it, and took a picture. And I went, yes, that is much better. I don't think I would have thought to take the skateboard outside. Plus, I probably would have killed myself. But now when we have skateboards and a few other outdoor things, we take them outside, you know?
Yeah.
It looks better. What about you, Michelle? Did Becky do anything that you were like, hey, we could do it better this way?
I'm sure there's been like things here and there. I know, like, coming from a very strict and rigid program of, you know, commercial business world photography, it was really hard for me because Becky was like, oh, I have a point and shoot, and like it was okay. And then, you know, she's has a certain look that she's going for with her photos, and I've kind of, you know, come to understand that look more. But it was just like kind of having to mold myself into what she wanted. But we've definitely, like, you know, had times where we talk about things and, you know, kind of both decide together, like, yeah, this might, you know, work out this way or whatever. And definitely, I think organization. I mean, she started off with like a big old library card catalog of jewelry, and we've grown so much. I think she had maybe like 1,000 some listings when I started, and now we have like 4,500 or some, and so we've just been expanding into like closets and bookshelves. So, you know, we're always collaborating and trying to think of ways to either label where we're keeping things or, you know, how to organize it. So I think it's a lot of, like, you know, just collaborations, and I'm sure there's been things that I've helped her with, and my memory's just not good.
That's awesome. All right, Bill, here's your chance. What'd you whip Debbie into shape about?
Actually, I wanted to remain married, so I didn't do a whole lot.
All right, good answer. Good answer.
The funny thing, if
good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
It's funny being married to your assistant. When he first started at 10 o'clock at night, we get it to chink. He would literally jump out of bed and run downstairs to pack it and get it ready. I'm like, you don't have to do it till tomorrow. But he was so excited.
Go ahead.
Bill's the numbers guy. So, you know, he keeps up our spreadsheets, and like he probably should be an accountant. So that helps me.
No, she had a lot of it pretty well down. I don't quite understand how she started her labeling of our totes out in the garage. Some are labeled purple one and blue one, but the blue ones are purple and the purple ones are blue. So I did organize those by all the purples are in order now and all the blues are in order, so I can walk right to our stuff when I need it. So, but other than that, we haven't changed a whole lot since I've been doing it.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing we did learn is we do have to have time apart. Like I have a bedroom office upstairs, so sometimes I'll just go up there and he'll be downstairs working. And like we worked together today shipping that great big huge fan because we just both stood there like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We don't want it to bend. I mean, you'll see what we did, but.
And that's one thing I've learned is to back out when we have a package like that and not worry about the way I would do it. You know, I let Debbie, she's got a thought process that she's going through when she does help with the stuff like that. And I just let her do it, and it usually turns out pretty good.
And it's funny now when we go sourcing, I'm usually the one at the door going, come on, I'm done, let's go. And he's still looking, or at garage sales, I'm like, come on, there's nothing here, let's go. But he likes to look harder and find things, and he's getting really good at being a sourcing assistant.
That's always good, too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi.
Oh, okay. Hey, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is Zoe the teenager, because I always talk about my teenager, because I don't have kids, and I know what it's like now to have a teenager, because we're going to have a little chat later, young lady.
Uh-oh.
but I want to go back to what Susan said. I have no luck with keeping employees, and then something that Kelly already kind of addressed. I am the most. I'm setting up Zoe for failure because I'm the most loosey-goosey boss she'll ever have. Because I'm like, oh, you forgot to work today? Can you come tomorrow? Like, I don't get mad. I don't, you don't get fired for that. When we had COVID and Kelly had to stay home and make sure her kids did their classwork.
You're the best boss ever.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
He is the best boss.
Hang on, we don't want to miss a word of
No,
that.
he is the best boss ever. Because you're not setting me up for failure because I have college. That's like I'm a full-time student too. But this is such a great job because it allows me to like get advice from a pro. You know what I mean? Like I see what he does and I'm learning as I go. And like my mistakes are like all of our mistakes. So we all like in the office, we all learn from them. And I still need, some help sometimes, which is probably what my lecture is going to be about today.
Yeah, so here's what I was going to say. Never had kids. I know what it's like to have a teenager, and I know what it's like to have a teenage girl who's in love with a boy who plays drums in a thrash band.
Oh.
See? Because she loses focus. Like, you want to see him play? First, and then we'll look at him play drums. But when Susan said she has a hard time keeping somebody, I'm very loosey-goosey. So when Kelly said, look, I got to stay home, make sure my kids do their schoolwork because they're stuck at home, Stacy and I prepped stuff that was easy enough to take home, where Michelle could take home jewelry because it's not big, gigantic stuff. If my mom was only selling water skis, it'd be tough for someone to take that home. But we do a lot of records, a lot of CDs. So I can go through records and put a post-it with the price and the condition, and then Kelly can do the rest because she knows how to do it. And so if Michelle and Becky live where it snows. So there might be a time this coming winter where Michelle can't get to work, but if she had some work at home, she could still do the work. So when you're having these assistants, I've always been under the feeling that you shouldn't crack the whip too hard about hours. As long as the work's getting done, I don't care if it's at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Zoe's going to work after the show's over. So I really don't care. As long as work gets done. Now, Bruce, do they make you have certain hours at the shop, or is they same way? Get the work done and we don't care?
I set my own hours and I go in at 7 to 3 o'clock. But if I want to take a day off or a week off, it's real flexible. Mm-hmm. So I got a lot of flexibility.
Julie, does your mom give you the same flexibility?
Yeah, because I live in Los Angeles, I moved out there for acting. So it's been really nice because like some evenings I'll babysit and some days I'll have auditions. And then, other days I'll actually book like background work and I'll be working on a show. So it's nice because it's extremely flexible and I'm able to do, what I love and then also make a little bit of money on the side.
Nice.
And Michelle, has Becky cracked that whip, or is she pretty loosey-goosey?
Becky is amazing. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a degree in photography, so I haven't done so much this year because of COVID, but a couple times a month I'll get an assisting gig for a couple days a week, and she's so flexible with me and, just letting me have the day or two that I need to go do that and then come back and do her work when I'm able to. And yeah, I have taken stuff home because her husband was like in Italy right around the time their pandemic broke out, and I was like, I'm gonna work from home for a few weeks just to like make sure everything's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Kelly, she has an older son who's into soccer and he's in tournaments. And on a Tuesday, she's like, yeah, I'm not going to be here Friday because we have a tournament in the next state. And I'm like, okay. Because, Mickey, you know what? Every once in a while, too, I have two people, and then Stacy's here coming in and out of the office all the time. One day alone ain't a bad thing. Every once in a while, I like just a little quiet, just me. Yes, exactly. So Charlie says, what would you all recommend a person do on day one when they start with assistant that would help them be the most productive? For sure, it's pictures because it's easy to teach them, and you can get stuff prepped and be like, all right, knock all these pictures out, and then you can go do some other stuff. But if you're going to have them be a true assistant, it should get into shipping soon because shipping ain't easy. And so although I've got Kelly and Stacy can do it in a pinch, I have Zoe do it every once in a while. And Zoe's selling for herself, just so if we're ever in that pinch, Zoe can come over and be like, hey, I need you to do the shipping. Even if she muddles it up a little bit, as long as it gets done, that's always the key. So, Deb, when you went to teach Bill shipping,
Oh,
because let me tell you, of all selling online, shipping's the only part that's tricky because there's just too many factors.
It is because you have, I tell them it's like a big puzzle. You have regional A and B, 2 different style of boxes. We used to have the C for a short time. And we got the flat rate, the padded, all these different parts. And we want to get the best value we can for the buyers and the safest packaging. So there's still a few times when he'll ask me, he'll go, well, what do you think we should do? And then sometimes he'll say, no, I think, or he'll bring something to me. I'm like, oh, I like that. That was a good idea. So, yeah.
And I did not ask Robin to say that. So
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah,
Speaking of shipping, I have to say, we got our 45 order of padded flat rate envelopes today from USPS. And our friend Mary Jo, shout out in Minneapolis, she mailed me a pack of 10 of them that she got. So we're good again. Jeez.
order more now.
Yes.
I was going to say, I love Kelly and I do love Zoe, but I had one assistant when we were filming Thrift Hunters. When you film a TV show like that, you film 2 episodes at the same time. So we were leaving to go film in another city, and I'd hired somebody just to do pictures. And I said, this is episode 1 in these tubs. This is episode 2. Take the pictures and keep them in the tubs because we didn't have to go back and finish filming episode 1 and 2. Whilst I was gone, she took the pictures and then shuffled everything together. So everything episode 1 and 2 was in one tub, and I just went, what the F? And she goes, so I had to sit, they had to send me notes and preview screenings because I didn't know what went into what episode. And of course, you need continuity. So I'm like, yeah, this ain't working. This really isn't working. But I've had really great ones. I've hired a friend's sister. I've hired a couple people off of Care. I've hired a friend that knew how to do eBay. Well, we weren't a friend. She was in my group, and she goes, hey, I live close to you. I got some tiki thing. Can I bring it over and have you help me with it? I'm like, sure. And then I said, hey, I need help. Would you have time in your day to help me? And since she was already an eBay seller, that was no training needed. She was pretty good at what she did. So right on in. All right. So we had a question. What's the best thing about being an assistant? Bill, we'll start with you.
Wow, that's a hard question, but well, I got a lot of flexibility. You talked about that a little earlier, and get the work done. And usually, I'm trying to keep Debbie at home, and she's not trying to keep me here. So she always wants to go. Let's go to Tahoe. Let's go here. Let's go there. But
that is the downfall.
The best thing is just it's the freedom, the whole job. That I guess it goes along with just being an eBay seller in general. There's a freedom that you have, and being the assistant, Debbie's responsible in the end.
Yeah, that's true.
I was the boss for 30 some years in my other jobs, and it all came back to me whenever anything was an issue. But so now I just always turn to Deb and go, "No, you should have audited this. You should have watched." No, but I think.
Hey, don't get any ideas.
Yeah.
Right? When he was working, he was commuting 135 miles round trip 5 days a week by himself. 135 miles a day round trip. It was a killer. And so now he just has to go from the bedroom downstairs and to the post office. Oh, all postal clerks are in love with him. He talks to, they all know everybody's business. He knows them all by name. And so that he goes to the post office every day. Yeah, I know we should have pickup, but we like to go.
Okay, this is gonna sound really corny, but the field trips are so great. I call them field trips. Like when we go thrifting somewhere, or like when we need to pick up like 2,000 CDs from like a random.
Oh yeah.
Or if we go like try on, like I got to try on like the dopest like leather fringe jacket last time we went to like Glam Factory Vintage. So that's my favorite part. I call them field trips, like little thrifting excursions. That's the best part.
I was not expecting that, but yeah, we've done way less because of COVID. But usually, I teach everyone who's working for me how to source with me, and we go out together and we'll hit, especially estate sales. Here's where assistant comes in handy if you like estate sales: an extra set of eyes and hands and a placeholder in line. That's what you're an assistant for. All right, Bruce. What about you? What's the best thing about being an assistant? Would you get first dibs at records?
Say, what was the question?
Well, the question was, what's the best thing about being an assistant? And then I said, ooh, do you get first dibs at records?
I don't listen to music.
What? That's it. I'm out of here. Good night.
That's worse than me.
Record store.
I do not. I don't own a record. I don't own a record player.
Me either.
And I have the radio on during the day for background music. Best thing I enjoy is making them very successful. I get a lot of pleasure out of seeing the numbers grow, and they are out of the chart this year. We're really doing a home run.
Now, I was in your position, Bruce, when we moved to Long Beach. It was my first job in Long Beach. And the thing that bummed me out was I taught them how to sell online. This was 2001 or 2001 probably. So in the infancy of selling online, and the guy I worked for, he wasn't the greatest guy. And so I was kind of bummed when I left because I left him a legacy of how to make money. And I'm like, yeah, he didn't really deserve that. he was a bad boss. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed out. But if you like who you work for, then it's not a bad thing.
Well, I like who I work for. They're really good to me.
Yeah, Linda wants you out.
He's making money. He's too busy working to listen to music.
So what about you, Michelle? Is there something that you learned from working with Becky that you hadn't learned before, hadn't even thought about?
Oh gosh, there's probably a lot of different things. I mean, titles, categories, descriptions, just organization. I mean, like I said, I had been a casual eBay seller, you know, throwing something up there once in a while. So it was kind of like opened a whole new door to me. And she mainly sells jewelry. So it's funny. She'll be like, you know, today's word of the day is, you know, something, and it'll be some sort of style of jewelry or vintage something.
And then you got to learn it and commit to memory. And I kind of do that with these two, especially with music. I'm always teaching Kelly music.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Give her pop culture.
yeah, look at that. This 18-year-old's like, she don't know music.
No, we give
I was
her
playing sports. I'm sorry.
We'll be like fangirling over this one band, and then Kelly will come in and she'll be like, "Who's that?" And we'll be like, "What do you mean, who's that?" Like, it'll be something like something that everybody knows, and she'll be like, "Who's that?" And we'll be like, "You don't know who that is." Like,
Hey, Kelly, how did we end up? Oh, I know.
What?
Kelly was listening to an Allman Brothers thing for me, and she didn't really know Greg Allman. So I introduced her to Greg Allman. I introduced her to Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers. I introduced her to Greg Allman's wife, Cher, and she's like, he was married to Cher. And then I introduced them to Greg Allman and Cher's son, Elijah Blue, who lead sings for a band called Deadsy. And she was like, she just looked at me and she goes, the amount of music knowledge that just flowed out from like one long sentence was amazing.
I had no idea that whole connection.
Oh, all right. I like this question since we're talking to Kelly. What have you taught me?
Gosh. I don't know.
So we know
Forgiveness.
Bruce taught the
My-
record store, don't take pictures on nasty carpet. We know that.
My husband just yelled forgiveness for all the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. You know, poor Kelly, really, because the plan was to build this office neat and tidy. And then we had a flood. And then just a couple times, many things came in at once. And so she had worked in some, not the best conditions, but we're getting better. We're finally kind of cleaning up and getting to a point where the flow was supposed to be stuff comes in, right to Kelly. Kelly puts it into inventory and then drops in the photo studio. And then when Zoe comes over, she takes the pictures and then back to Kelly to list. And that's the flow. We're almost back to that point. We're starting to get there, then we got lost, and then we're getting back. So, what have you taught Becky, Michelle? Better pictures, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, we upgraded our camera. I mean, you were there the one time. Really long, confusing presentation for most people, I'm sure. But the camera we use is actually really nice. And when we started off, the camera we were using was like very gray and dark, and the photos just weren't all that great. And then I kind of helped her pick out a new point and shoot. So yeah, a couple things about photography, but Becky, she's actually pretty tech savvy for, most things, but I have helped her out, with some computer issues and stuff like that as well.
So Linda says a flood in Vegas. I'll give the really quick version. I guess Linda didn't know. So we purchased a house to put my office in. It happens to be 4 doors away from where we live. And we moved in, and I had a handyman putting in fresh tile in the bathroom and a new toilet. And the way that they run plumbing in Las Vegas when they built this house was stupid. And it started leaking overnight. And so when we all came back to work the next day, him to finish tile, me to start moving in, had flooded the entire night in the house. So there was just water under all the floors. So within a week of owning this house, we had to tear all the floors out and get them replaced. Now, the floors that were here were horrible. And so it worked out. It was something we were going to do down the road. We didn't want to do it right that second. But if we were already coming in an orderly fashion, everything had to go back out. And so it became just chaos. Stuff in the garage, stuff in the backyard, stuff in the front yard. It was utter chaos. So we have nice floors now. So, Julie, what have you taught your mom?
It's definitely a work in progress, and she's going to kill me for saying this, but organization. Our basement is not organized, and we are very slowly but surely getting there. We literally have like a table downstairs that is just piled high, and then when we sell something that's on the table, it just says table, and then you have to go pick through this table of stuff. Meanwhile, like the stuff I have in LA is like nicely in like, I mean, I have 3 bins worth of stuff, so it's, not that bad, but it's, all of like the beauty products I sell are in one container and all the clothing is in another. Our basement is a work in progress. So definitely organization, which being here over the summer, I think slowly but surely we're getting there.
All right, so something that Kelly and Zoe and maybe Zoe's sister Mac, who's going to be my next assistant, and my wife Stacy are going to do next week is an inventory. All right, so have you all done inventories for your bosses? Bruce, have you inventoried to make sure all those records are accurate?
We have someone else to do that.
Oh, well, that's even better for you. Because let me tell you, inventory is the worst part of this job. I hate it.
I think it's fun.
Well, then you're going to do all of it. Zoe said you did. Teenagers are weird. Inventory is horribly boring. So that's good that Bruce got somebody else. Julie, have you and your mom done an inventory recently?
Oh, no.
All right, and we're going to talk about why you shouldn't a second. Bill, have you and Debbie done one recently?
Never.
What?
We've done a little bit, but
all right, we're going to talk about this. Michelle, have you and Becky done one?
Yeah, we kind of do it together. Once everything's listed and live, the different types of jewelry get separated, earrings, bracelets, etc. And then I'll file them away. And then once I clear out a drawer, like let's say I filed away all the earrings, Becky will go and she'll make sure every earring that's listed has a specific spot. And if it's not, if it's doesn't have its custom inventory number, then she takes it off the listing so that someone can't buy it. And then we're like, gee, I don't know where this is.
So the thing on the turntable might be a coconut owl or a stuffed poo. Did you mean Winnie the Pooh or actual poo? Look, I bought this. I thought it'd be cool. I can't sell this damn thing. Look how cool this is with little babies.
Oh, somebody watching wants to buy it.
I can't sell this damn thing. I love this thing, but no one seems to want it.
Maybe if I put it near my pool, it will keep the pigeons away.
There you go. All right. So let me tell you about inventory. If you've never done it, Debbie, if you've never done it, you're blown away. Because nowadays, too, we're all listed on multiple platforms, cross-listing. Oh, it's sold here. We should take it off over there. And then you have those people who buy something they never pay, and then you forget to relist it. So when you do an inventory, you're going to find things on your shelf that ain't listed anymore for a variety of reasons. And you're going to find things for sale that you don't own anymore because you sold it on Etsy and it's still on eBay. So I used to do inventory right after the new year because you should have a correct inventory for taxes. But like 3 years ago, I did it right like in October. And my stuff was such a mess. I'm like, oh my God, if I didn't do this, all these things wouldn't be listed for Christmas. And so we've been mad listing on so many platforms, and we've got like 1,000 items on Amazon and 1,000 items on eBay and a couple hundred on other platforms. So we're going to do it next week to make sure going into Q4 Q3, out of Q3. It's accurate, and you have everything right going into Q4. So if you've never done it, you really, really should. And if you have help, it goes so much quicker. So if I've got 5 people doing it, it goes really quick. When I used to do it by myself, I would cry. Because let me tell you how boring it is to go through 1,000 CDs on Amazon. And of course, Amazon don't make it easy. It says like, Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. And then for some reason, the title of Amazon's weird. And you're like, wait, what CD is this? And you got to go look it up. Like, it's annoying. But when you have help, that's where yes.
Yeah, we'll work on that right now.
If you got a teenager who says it's fun, do it every week.
Yeah, send it to us. Can you come visit us in California for a week?
All right, let's talk about, we'll end up with some scores here and some cool stuff. So here is our Brady Bunch panel this evening. And we're going to start with Bruce is decked out. He is ready for eBay 25 tomorrow.
Yay.
All right, so this is Bruce's personal eBay. Hugo5178. Is Hugo a nickname, Bruce?
That's my dad's name.
All right, even cooler. I'm going to move Bruce right to the top here. And 2 things you recently sold. Did you get $350 for this?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
Shut up. I have an extra one. I didn't think they were selling for that much, so congratulations.
Actually, no, I took a best offer of $280.
Okay, still good. Still really good.
Is that the one near me?
Yes. See, you should go grab one because their anniversary party's coming up.
Oh, okay.
Tiki Underground. They have some party coming up. I said yes virtually to going. Okay. I love clown stuff, but I definitely wouldn't have paid. Did this sell for $800?
That did sell for $800.
Well, let's give Bruce applause. All right.
I think I like clowns now too.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. Kelly's not a big fan of clowns, and if y'all don't know, my office is Creepy Clown Central throughout the entire house. So every day she comes to work and she goes, "Oh, goody."
Yeah.
Clowns. So, Bruce, where'd you find this?
At an estate sale, I gave $100 for it.
Nice.
Wow.
And see, again, don't be afraid to spend money if you're good, if you know there's bigger money. We all love my mom's quarter fines, but if you can turn 100 into 800, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. All right. And then Toad Hall Books and Records. If you're in the Milwaukee or Chicago area, this is kind of in between. So definitely go check it out. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of rooms. There's a lot of stuff. It's the kind of place I love and the kind of place my wife hates. She thinks it's haunted. So she didn't like it. My bad. I lied. All right. So here's some things you sold for them. So I was shocked to see this. I was expecting to see all music, and then you sent this in. What the hey?
Yes, we have a big variety of stuff between music, books, holsters, a lot of different stuff.
Awesome. Great sale.
Yeah, and $350 for this is pretty epic. But the next thing, I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so I introduced Kelly to Iggy Pop the other day. She never heard Iggy Pop. So I was playing Iggy Pop. I explained the Stooges. So every day it's a fun lesson in music around here. Yeah. This box set is worth $800?
That's what we sold it for.
Shut up. Now, look, for something in music to shock me on price, I'm like, I would have looked at it and said, yeah, it's probably worth some money, not thinking $800 worth. That is awesome.
Wow.
We're trying to push the limit on a lot of stuff.
Bruce, was this something they ordered originally and kind of put away, or did someone trade this in?
No, we ended up buying several box sets like that.
Nice.
Wow.
Lisa said her husband's a huge Iggy fan. So are you holy crapping that Kelly never heard of Iggy Pop, or holy crapping $800 sale? But yeah, Kelly goes home with so much music knowledge in her brain every day.
Yes, it's exhausting.
All right, so toadhallonline.com if you want to check them out. So check them out. And then I said, what's the coolest thing they sold, and the coolest thing you sold, and the coolest thing the boss sold. So which one was this? Oh, this is Toad Hall. So So did someone trade in a movie poster?
Yes, they did.
It's crazy. It's awesome. And how long ago did this sell, Bruce?
I think that sold last week.
Oh, cool. Funny enough, I was just watching this again for like the millionth time on Netflix. I'm like, I haven't seen Raiders in a while. Now, here's what's crazy. This is what Bruce sent us for one of the coolest things he sold. Hey, Kelly, what's your husband do for a living?
He does prosthetics.
And it's so crazy of all the things that Bruce could have shared.
Wow.
With the prosthetic leg.
Prosthetic leg.
That was at a estate sale in the closet, no price on it. I took it up to the lady. I says, "How much do you want for this?" She goes, $5. That's it. Just sold.
Holy
cow. Sold for $250.
Debbie.
So I was going to ask Bruce. I've been told that you can't sell them on eBay because they need a prescription. So we can't, because I think we have 2 or 3 of them.
Yes, we do.
It's true. In the rule, I think actually is because what's the rule? Liability. That's what I'm being told.
eBay doesn't want the liability if someone buys one on eBay and then has issues with it.
It may not be a broker.
It's been up for quite a while, and I have another one still listed on eBay.
Huh.
I was thinking of putting it up and saying great Halloween decor.
Yeah. And then someone wants it for the regular.
Yeah.
Or for the regular use. All right. So let me get Michelle up here. So Michelle, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I'm really into like cosplaying at anime conventions, although there have been none because of COVID.
Because, if you know Michelle, she's kind of quiet and seemingly shy. And then you see these pictures and you're like, wow, this is a whole Michelle I don't know.
I also like heavy metal concerts. So
nice. I love it. So, hey, where was this giant chair?
That is in some cupcake shop on Euclid Avenue in downtown Cleveland.
We got to go, huh? Next time we're home.
I actually think they might have had their windows bashed in during all the police protests.
Oh no!
They're still there.
All right, so these are some things that Becky sold, and Becky's, as Michelle mentioned, Becky's eBay ID is Jaybird333, and she's not a weird dude. She is Becky.
The store is Ziggy's Vault, named after her parrot, Ziggy. He's our coworker.
Ah, he's your coach.
So this is an amazing bracelet. Stacy's like, why did that sell for so much?
Sure.
I was sad that it sold because I really liked it. Like the whole time I was listing it, I was actually wearing it and it fit me very nicely.
All right, so we have a question about your cosplay. Do you have a favorite character?
Probably Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
And I'm out because I know none of those words make sense to me.
That's a great picture.
Now, even that was a great picture, but I love this draped over the hand. I like that.
That one actually was not mine, so I can't take credit for it.
Oh, you could have. We would have never known.
Of course I did that. I've probably done stuff like that in the past, and I know some of the ladies had looked at some of my images, when they first started, just to get ideas. But some of them come up with their own stuff too, so it's nice.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And then little grouping action here, huh?
Yeah, I actually one of the things I love to do is Becky has just drawers and bins full of jewelry, and I just love to dig through them and find stuff. And so I was digging through one, and I found kind of a bit of well-loved antique jewelry. So I was like, let's just throw this together in a lot, and that was that.
Nice. I love the backgrounds. I love that on that lace, and you have all different backgrounds. The pictures are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yep, that is awesome. And then Debbie picked out a couple things that you sold.
Yes.
And nice. where'd you find stuff? Was this from sourcing? Something you had?
That was from an estate sale, actually. I think I got it for about $40, so I would have liked to have sold it for a little bit higher, but I had it for over a year. So when someone offered me that, I was just like, all right, I'll take that. But yeah, that was a really nice piece.
Yes.
And then, see, I would look at that and think ashtray.
Yeah.
So there's a funny story with that. It actually is an ashtray. And
Okay.
it's really big too, and I didn't realize that's what it was. So I had a couple of these Gertie Hacker pieces. She was a local artist, and my grandma wanted me to sell them on eBay for her. And this one guy in New York who's like a collector, he like scooped up a couple of them, and then I'm like, well, I have this other piece. Are you interested in it? He's like, no, that's an ashtray, and I'm not a smoker. And I was like, oh, okay. And I accidentally sent him that one instead of the one other one.
Oh.
And so originally I was like, all right, well, I'll give you the money and you can ship it back to me. And then he was just like, you know what, I'll just keep it. So I think it might have sold for somewhere more around like 50-ish or so. But I mean, it was still, a decent amount considering my grandma was like,
and funny, Debbie just picked that. I didn't realize there was going to be a crazy story where he's like, whoop, I got the wrong thing. I'll keep it. I like that.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. You don't have to call it an ashtray.
Right.
All right. So first we're going to talk to Kelly, because Kelly, who had never been on eBay, got paid to learn and then just started selling on her own. So what'd you sell,
did.
Kel?
What was that?
What'd you sell?
Oh, so I sold those Adidas Diesel jeans, and yeah.
Now,
Look at that. Look at those
did you
pictures.
sort
Look how
these,
good
or
they
were
are.
these like your kids?
They were from a friend. I had gathered some stuff from a friend, some cool stuff to help start the store. And luckily, their stuff is all selling. So it's very popular.
Is this from them too?
Yeah, like pretty much everything.
And
But it's good because it's letting me, take the pictures, try it out, and I'm getting people to the store with these cool items.
Yeah. And here's what's funny about when I hire somebody, because I'll let them use the photo studio. Like Zoe comes over all the time to use the photo studio. So I'll be scrolling eBay and I'll see a picture that I know it's my photo studio. And I'm like, someone stole my picture. And then I'm like, oh, no. I let my assistant use my photo studio. And then coolest thing that the boss sold. I just want to throw a few more of my scores. So I just wanted to show this because usually country t-shirts don't sell, but I got this in a lot and it sold pretty quick. And I think what might have helped was it was a long sleever.
Mm-hmm.
And I have lost my male mannequin. So my photo assistant, Zoe, hi Zoe, said, all right, we're just going to take the female mannequin and flip it around backwards. And then that'll be good enough for now. So it's good when the assistant can pick up the slack. I don't know where the male mannequin got lost along the way. Like, how did that leave? I don't know. But she took care of it. And we just sold purses recently. So Zoe took the pictures. Kelly did the listings, did the shipping. And that's it was Stacy's item. And here's the thing I forgot to mention. When you hire an assistant, the first 2 weeks feels like you're throwing money away because nothing's getting done and everything's very slow because you're working with them to teach them the processes. But then about a month in, you start seeing things sold that you didn't take pictures of, you didn't list, you didn't even ship. And so you're like, now it works. And it all kind of catches up at Christmas because you start selling a ton of stuff. So those first 2 weeks, you got to get over the hump because my first assistant, I told Stace, I go, I'm just wasting money. But then it starts rolling. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember too, Jason, one time you didn't have an assistant and you remember your sales dropped.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, what is going on? And then you realized that was when you didn't have an assistant. So that really made a difference.
All right. So we asked Kelly for the coolest thing she sold. And we looked at this and there's a patch that says Sexual Sports Club. I'm like, oh, let's talk about this.
Oh God.
Yeah. That was definitely the coolest thing. It was like a German motorcycle patches and everything. And it was like my third sale went to someone in Germany.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yep. I was very proud of myself. I'm selling internationally. Yay. And I didn't even know about eBay a year ago.
Wow. That blows my mind. Don't even know advertisements on TV.
Yeah, maybe, but not really.
Oh, and then Kelly realized she had her year anniversary working for me yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Hey. I like Ned Canada's. My goal as an assistant is to get the wife making enough that she needs a real assistant. So there you go, Stephanie. Ned's got goals for you.
You go, Ned.
Oh, and then so I said to Kelly, I said, hey, what's the funnest thing you've sold of mine? And she goes, like the first day I ever worked, you sold Adventures and Babysitting soundtrack for so much money. I was floored.
Yeah, that really blew my mind. I was just like, wow. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, there is money to be made.
Oh, yeah.
Angelique
cool.
wants to know if that sports club offers online classes. And we just got dirty. Thank you, everybody. Okay, I gotta say, Julie, you take some really awesome photogenic pictures.
Thank you.
The one I use for like the Brady Bunch, even though the flowers, I'm like, I love looking at all.
It's funny
I
that
love all your
you.
Insta. So I wanted to ask you, where's this castle at?
This is actually in Kentucky, and it's kind of funny that you picked this photo because it's very close to another photo that I know I have on my Facebook of me at Colonel Sanders' grave holding a bucket of KFC. So I'm glad you went with this one because it just looks a little bit better.
I kind of figured it was something United States, but I was like, all right, let's see where this is. I
I think it's in Lexington, I think.
Here,
But it's
you know what
only
I see in this
Kentucky.
picture? I see, oh my God, my father would have kicked my ass because I would never get those lines straight on that lawn. All right, so let's talk about a couple things you sold for your ma. Zima. Who knows?
Yeah.
I know the teenager won't know what Zima is, but the rest of us probably drank it at some point.
I didn't know what Zima was. My mom
Julie
had to
probably
tell
doesn't know.
me.
Michelle probably doesn't know because that was like when we were like 20.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was until like last year or something when there was a whole big like didn't come back or something.
Yeah, it came back for a minute. So Zima was the first like malt beverage. It was clear and you liked it at first, but by your third one, you're like, ugh.
And this was actually, even though it only sold for $39.99, it was completely free. My mom actually trash picked this, which was just really cool. Yeah, we're definitely trash pickers around here. We will drive by a good pile of trash and be like, wait, back the car up. It looked like there was something that's worth something in that pile. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, real quick before we get to this, Zoe's dad is a dumpster diver, and Zoe's dad works for a phone company, so he's on a pole a lot. So when he's on a pole, he sees things. He's like, oh, I gotta go grab that. And so every day I look in the back of his truck when I walk from the office to our house. I look in the back of his truck to see what he brought home that day. I'm like, ooh, I could use that.
It's amazing. And then this was like an accidental thing. I had absolutely no intentions of ever listing this. I bought it at, I want to say it was Hobby Lobby at the end of the summer season to actually give to my baby cousin next week for his birthday. Until I saw my cousin Snapchatted me a photo of him already playing with a golf set. So I was like, I spent, it was on sale. I spent something like $4 on it. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just go online, see how much this is worth. Maybe I'll sell it on eBay. I'll make my money back. Sold it for $27.
Nice.
Well done.
Thanks.
Well done. All right, so I had to find a good picture of Bill.
Oh, those are the days.
Back in the days when we can hang out together, we would wear muumuus to tiki bars. So
Yeah.
we can't do that right now, really. But Bill, Debbie didn't send me anything. Anything fun and exciting? The last thing you thought, you're like, oh, this was fun.
Oh gosh. Hang on. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna take a look and see. I think the thing, I don't know if I didn't find it, Debbie did, but this the Dungeon and Dragons, all the books she bought, I've had a blast with those because I'll put those up and then they'll sell within a day or so. We've done really good there. And then when we went to that the garage sale, the cheeseburger place that went out of business, told us about. We've sold a bunch of mugs and we've sold a bunch of just fun shirts and things. So I really enjoy that. I picked up a lot of the shirts and we sold them, so that was kind of fun. Usually when I pick up, Debbie goes, no, I don't think so.
You picked up those pins at the thrift store here, the local one, like the Duck pins or the Kansas City Chief.
Oh, the Kansas City Chief pins. I just picked them up. They were like $6 and we sold those for $55. And I picked up a bunch of Elks Club pins. They were $27, and I forget what we eventually got for those. I was just trying to get our money back on those, but so that's what I look for when we go into that thrift store now. They've always got a bunch of pins out there, and those are fun to pick through. But other than that,
it's really funny because I'll put stuff out. He says, just give me a pile of like 10 things to list. So I'll put them, and then he'll kind of pick, and pretty soon I'll find the CDs over here and something over here. I'm like, you don't want to list these? Because he kind of hides them around if you don't want to deal with them.
Okay, that's a good question. All right, let's go around the room. I thought of this question. Kelly, what do you hate listing the most of everything you've had to list?
Oh gosh, it varies day to day. I'm starting to like the cowboy boots. I'm used to that now. I love the records. I love the media now. Gosh, just anything probably now that's not clothing, not media, or shoes.
All right, so if I throw you a left hook and throw like, a game in there, you're like, ugh, I gotta do a game today. Zoe, I'm gonna bring it to you because we're gonna show your scores in a minute.
Okay.
What do you hate listed just in general? Because you don't list for music, or what do you hate taking pictures of?
Pictures of tikis are fun. Tikis are fun. Okay, the thing with tikis is that there's so many like different angles that you have to make sure you get, because some of them are like super intricate and some of them are just like kind of basic. But I mean, I guess it's just probably being meticulous. Maybe like the things that are super simple, like board games, like you just front back, like CDs, super simple. But it's like it's like the more intricate looking the item is, like the more specific it is, the more like, oh, you have to be like aware of like the angle and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. So Julie, what do you hate listing or taking pictures of?
Okay, so I can't think of anything specific, but there's usually an item where my mom will be like, hey, I have this thing and I tried looking it up and I can't really find anything for it. So can you just take care of it? And I'm like, no, I don't want to take care of it. Not today, please.
Yeah.
If it's something that I like really have to do a lot of research to try to find, it's like, oh, it's the worst.
So Bill doesn't like CDs apparently. So Debbie says she's fine.
CDs are fine.
Okay.
It's just simply what she gives me isn't worth anything. So, but I tell you, I like doing the manga books or anime books. Those are probably pretty easy. But regular sets of books are a pain because Debbie makes me go through every page and make sure everything's right.
She cracks a whip, don't she?
And every book has something wrong with it. So then I got to try and get those into the pictures. And I like doing clothes because they're so easy to ship. They're not but some of the big size clothes like overalls, I have a hard time getting pictures of.
So big.
We have five pair right now, and the first couple I did, the pictures were so bad, Debbie's got to redo them. So
Debbie's got to redo them. Not you, Debbie.
There's no light in this house.
He's got my old 5. He has my old 5 iPhone. He
Okay.
needs a new phone. He needs an 11.
All right, so Bruce, anything come through the record store that you're like, ugh?
Lots of magazines.
Yeah.
I really don't care to do magazines.
Yep.
Those have pages missing and parts cut out of them. And
then Michelle, Becky only does jewelry, right? Does she have anything else?
Every once in a while we'll have something else obscure. She was doing more when I first started, but she's like, no, I really just need to focus on the jewelry because that's what I'm good at selling. I don't know. It depends. There's some jewelry I like better than others. Like if there's something that's ugly, it's all, opinion. So if I'm like, I don't really like how that looks, I put it in the bucket for the other assistants.
The truth comes out.
love it.
And joining us now are the other assistants. Let me get them in the show.
Yeah.
All right, so let's end up on Zoe here because Zoe and her sister Mac took over and started selling on their own, and they put their outgoing with my outgoing. So every day when they started, I had to kind of call them and go, okay, this is wrong. Come back. Yeah. You can't do this. Oh, you cannot use priority mailboxes for parcel select. Wait, why are you using parcel select? I thought I taught you better than that. So, but they're doing really well now. And so let me get you the mic.
Yes, we started selling, me and my sister, we got back into selling on eBay right when COVID hit and school was canceled. So we would wake up and be like, well, what do we do today? And so our mom was like, you should just sell crap around the house. And we were like, that's actually not a bad idea, because we started making some money and we were like, oh, we could just like sell every day. because I mean we had no school. I mean we couldn't go hang out with our friends. Everything was closed. So our dad had this crazy idea a couple years back, and he wanted to eat all of the Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavors that ever existed. So we started collecting the little pint cups, and we had a collection of maybe at least 100 cups. So we put them all on eBay because we were like, it's time for a change. We need to get rid of them. So this guy, like Kelly from Germany, some dude from like Cologne, Germany, was like, "Hey, I'll take all of them." And we were like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, send them to Germany." And he bought the whole set for $250.
Wow.
And that was,
trash,
it's
people.
cardboard. It's empty cardboard. And we were like, "What?" So that's when that whole big thing happened. And our dad's friend, my other big sale, that Chanel bag, our dad's friend saw it on like the thrifting board Facebook, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I have so many like designer clothes that I've just been needing to get out of my closet. Can you sell clothes for me?" And we were like, "Oh my gosh, yes, of course." So this was my other big sale. Well, me and maybe our big sale. I can't take all the credit. But yeah, this was a gently used Chanel bag. But I mean, this had like 17 watchers, I think. Like it was really like popular. People wanted that. So
Nice.
yeah, it was just really cool how that all happened.
Yeah.
And I was very proud to see the girls sell things. And how old's your sister now? 14?
Yeah.
And you're 18?
Yeah.
Yep. And so,
15? Yeah, she's 15.
oh, she's 15. She doesn't know her sister's age. But, to see the teenagers get into it, because sometimes we can see lazy teens, but both her and her sister are singers and talented. So I always hear them practicing. I see them working. So it's great. But here's the thing we're going to end on. When you hired an assistant, they ended up getting robotic. And so when you say do this way, there's sometimes you have to break and not do it that way because they've been trained. They forget to think for themselves. Okay.
Yes.
And when you're a teenager in love with a boy who plays drums in a thrash band, you forget things sometimes. So I showed her this and she even went, "Oh, okay." So this is the last thing that I want to end on. When you hire somebody, they're going to do this. They're going to do this. They're not going to notice they're being robotic, and you just got to catch them on it. So we have the exact same background we use for every tiki mug. However, if that tiki mug is the exact same color of the background, you really can't use that background. Because I said, "Hey, Zoe, where's the tiki mug in this middle here?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, I don't see it at all." So you see the barrel really nice at the top, but the one in the middle, you don't see so well.
Yeah.
So you've got to remind them that they can't be robotic. They're going to have to every once in a while, because that mug on that background's horrible.
Right.
Now, she retook him on blue, much, much better. But that's the one thing you're going to have to remember is to, as the boss, it happens. And I've had every single assistant do it because they're just like, they're trained to do their job. They're going to take their pictures, they're going to do their listings. But every once in a while, you got to break from the norm, and they're going to forget to break. So you just go, "Hey," and even she said, "Oh, yeah, that's bad." She didn't see it in the moment, but she saw it after the fact. And then so she worked it out. So
Like, where's Waldo?
yeah. But she was like, "I know, I put the tiki mugs in front of this," and she just kept doing it. So and let's go back. Linda's very excited about the purse you sold. I think Linda just passed out. But my business couldn't be where it is without any of my assistants, and it really couldn't be at the point it is without these two. So this one right here and this one over there. Wait, I'll make it easier. Hold on. This one right here. There we go. And so, and seeing all the smiles on everyone's face on this panel, and when they talk about, we have a daughter and a husband and an employee and an employee, and it tells me that they like what they're doing, they like who they're working for, and like I said, if you make it kind of loosey goosey, although she forgets to come to work every once in a while. Oh yeah, you're right. But it doesn't matter as long as the work gets done. Really, that's the bottom line. This is not the job to be like, punch a clock. It's really not that job. Yeah, maybe it needs to be for her, but yeah. But my job and even my life is way more enriched because of the people I have around me. So don't hesitate to take your business to the next level, because hopefully you're going to get a Kelly, hopefully you're going to get a Julie, hopefully you're going to get a Bill and a Michelle and a Bruce, and definitely a Zoe, because it is fun. I will say, here's what the teenager does bring. She is 18. The year is 2020. She comes to work and listens to Huey Lewis in the news. I'm like, what decade is this? What decade? What 18-year-old in 2020 listens to Huey Lewis in the news? Oh, wait, she has a Huey Lewis story.
You know, it was like I just put on my like shuffle playlist one time, and it went from like the Stooges to like some Norwegian black death metal band. And he's in the office, and he like comes over and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally fine." Like, I was working, like, it's put on my playlist. And he was like, "What the hell is going on?" Because I thought of me and like the music. And I was just like, "It's just like my playlist." It was funny.
Yeah. Becky said, yes, her business could not have grown without Michelle. And so, you know, here's the other thing. And I don't know if your bosses do it, but I'll tell you what I do. Every Christmas, we have a Christmas party, and I take everyone who's working for me to a show and to dinner and stuff. So,
Can't wait for this year. Oh,
so who knows what's going to happen this year? But at Christmas time, it's like any other job. A bonus should be part of it. I do a bonus, and I take them out for a night on the town, because it then involves their husband or their dating wife, and that way it just makes it more of a, you know, like, hey, we're a family. And so so Julie, if your mom's not taking you to a show, or Bill is not taking you, it definitely it costs me money, but it's money so well spent. Everyone should do it.
Yep.
Now, is that a tax write-off, I wonder?
It used to be, until some rule changes. We won't get into that. So I want to thank everyone for the panel. I want to thank everyone for watching. I heard we don't have a lot of thumbs up yet. And so give our panel this amazing gift. It is so awesome to have everybody on the show tonight and sharing with us. And I want to thank all their bosses for, oops, I'll get it right off of Michelle's head there. So it's not on Michelle's head, and we'll go back to Ben and Jerry. So give a big old thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you want to take that leap, I'm around, Debbie's around, and all these people are in the group. And so if you have questions for the people who have hired them or them themselves, I'm sure they'll all be happy to answer, because your business and your life will be better when you find that good assistant.
And I was going to say, we're going into Q4, obviously, like Christmas, like all the other retailers. You could hire someone just for maybe a month or two and tell them, this is just a seasonal job. That way, if you can't stand them, okay?
Oh, and I will say this, on this. Sometimes your assistants are going to leave you and be better than you. Don't be upset by that. Be proud that you taught them. My assistant, Cheryl, had never sold online, corporate downsizing. This is way pre-COVID. Corporate downsizing, she lost her career. And so she was looking to get into online selling. Never had done it. Came to work for me. Got me through season 2 of filming Thrift Hunters. And then said, Jay, I got to go on and do my own thing. Now she's building her own products in China and doing 7-figure. Like, it's crazy. She blew me away, and I couldn't be happier. I am very happy for anyone that has worked for me for their successes. So if that happens, be proud and be happy that you taught them to do that. So Zoe, I expect you to make $1 million.
$2 million, Kelly.
I still have time. I know I'm older, but come on.
I wasn't done. Kelly, I expect you to make $2 million.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You weren't done yet. Okay.
Oh, look at that. There's Joanne. Really keeps me motivated. Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome, Joanne.
That's awesome. So thank you all very much for tuning in live. Thank you all for being on the show. And Zoe, it's time to get to work.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. And Sunday, Mom and I'll be back to figure out where she went awry on Macari. And if you're not listed on Macari yet, let's get you listed there. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye.